another video, Purple Political Talk here, and today we're going to be looking at the JHK for presidential forecast, which in my opinion is one of the best, if not the best, presidential forecasts out there. So what we're going to be doing is that we're going to be analyzing all the data that we get here, and it's going to be important because all this different data that we're getting here is important to saying what we think will happen, and probably dictating what actually will happen. So, first thing we're going to be looking at, I guess, is this map. So this is the chances map. So don't look at the percentages as what are the vote percentages are going to be, but rather as what are the chances of each candidate winning. So the safe states are pretty solid. 99%, 100%, all these different things that won't change, like I've been saying for a long time in these states. But what we can see is that first thing that Joe Biden has been getting all these states and racking them up and the percentages. A state like Colorado that used to be a swing state in 2016, 94% chance of Joe Biden winning. Nevada, 84%, that's still pretty considerable. Virginia, 94%. So we can see that in these states that Hillary Clinton won and that were somewhat contested in 2016, and they won't be that contested in 2020, those states are going by pretty good margins. They're almost at safe characteristics when it comes to pretty solid or things like that. Again, we're not talking about voting and the vote percentages, but rather the solid and how it's going to go for each candidate. If it's pretty safe, even though it might only go by 5 points. And another big takeaway is that the Rust Belt is looking pretty good for Joe Biden right now. We see Wisconsin, which is going to be the closest, I guess, 71% to 30%, so almost 70-30. That doesn't mean it's almost the same chance that Joe Biden, Donald Trump has a whole upset to the whole election, but it's a little more. And if we were to put a color to this, it would be this light blue, which would be the blue where Pennsylvania is sitting at. So I guess the Rust Belt, we can see also that the biggest state that's probably going to go with the most chances to Joe Biden is the state of Michigan. And honestly, the Rust Belt should be pretty solid for Joe Biden. And at this point, the real real swing states will be Arizona, the Rust Belt, North Carolina, and Florida. That is it. When it comes to these districts, Maine for two electoral votes. At large, Joe Biden's pretty safe to win that. And among with everything else, we can see that the election is pretty safe for Joe Biden at this point. Things can change, and there is a big chance of an upset. The chances of an upset right now are 21.8%, which, is a chance. It's a 1 in 5 chance. Now, we're going to look at these electoral averages and popular vote averages. So this is a very good electoral vote average, because that's usually what we've been seeing a lot in the comments, in my predictions, and just general playing around with the electoral map. These are numbers that we usually would see. 328 to 209, and honestly, or 328 to 210. All these differ 329, so there's many combinations you can make. And honestly, these combinations are pretty accurate. And honestly, when you look at it, you can see states like Florida going and things like that. And when you add everything else, you can see probably Joe Biden almost get to a landslide, probably not get through the whole way. When it comes to popular vote, I'm a little bit more skeptical of it, I guess. 44% to 51%. It's going to be close at the end of the day. And popular vote is usually a lot closer than people think. Although the electoral margin might be something it looks like it's far away. If you went by 400 electoral votes to 125, who knows? Maybe all the seats that you won by 50%. Which, would make the popular vote closer, if not the other person winning. So that's going to be an important thing to see. And this is going to be the graph of everything we've seen. So the chances of winning the White House are going up for Joe Biden. And they've really been going up since coronavirus. Since coronavirus, Donald Trump has lost almost all of his chances. When we're talking, if we would have talked 3 months ago to 4 months ago, we probably would have said that Joe Biden had a slightly bigger chance of winning, but still, Donald Trump still had a chance. But right now, it's looking like Donald Trump barely has a chance. 1 in 5 chance, I'm not saying it's bad, and honestly, if you think about it, 2016 was a 1 in 3 chance of winning the presidency. This time it's slightly less, but still, it's considerable. And it's gone up by a lot. Joe Biden has gained from 55, almost 22 points of winning the election, and Donald Trump has lost 22 points of him winning the election. And with the popular vote, it's going to be closer. I mean, the graph has just started kind of like to start dispersing, like very big right now from where it was that was going to be 49 to 46. So 3 point now it's at a almost 10-point lead. That's more like 7 points. But still, it's a lot. And electoral votes, it's probably going to be, you see how it's kind of the same trend we saw with the popular vote, but at a bigger scale. So now we're going to be going down and looking at the race to 270. So these are states with the polling averages. And for example, the slimmest state is going to be Nebraska's congressional district, 0.4%. And honestly, if you just start looking, North Carolina is looking like +2 for Biden, Arizona +2.5 almost, Florida +3.5, Wisconsin +3.7. So you can see that Wisconsin could be able to go by the same margin as Florida. And when you look at this, you can see that Joe Biden has a good grasp on these swing states. States like Minnesota +8.2, Virginia +10.5, Maine +10.7, Colorado +11. New Mexico at this point is safe. And we're going to be looking at these later on when we do my next video. We're going to do polls analysis. But at the end of the day, it's looking very good for Joe Biden. And look at Donald Trump. He has the safe states. But other than that, Texas +4.8, Ohio +2.0, Georgia +1.5, and which one was the last one? Hold on. And Georgia +2.5, and then Iowa +6, +1.4. So we can see that Donald Trump could easily, if he continues to stumble and lose a lot of his grip here, he could start losing states like Iowa, then Georgia, followed by Maine's 2nd congressional district, then Ohio, and possibly even Texas. And that would be his worst case scenario. But if Joe Biden continues to perform, quote unquote, because per se this election is not going to be more about how good Joe Biden is, but rather how bad Donald Trump is. They're not voting in Joe Biden, they're just voting out Donald Trump. And at the end of the day, that's essentially what this race is. It's not more who's the better candidate, it's just we want to vote out that person, and we're just going to put whoever's against them. Looking at this electoral map, we see a lot more blue on it, and this is a very important thing, because I mean, at this point in time, you must remember that the Electoral College is very it values a lot, because state like New York, although, or maybe let's give a better example, a state like Illinois, it could be like a nice sized state, but it has a lot of electoral votes. Or for example, a state of Wyoming, or Montana, it's a big state, has very small amount of electoral votes. So the Electoral College does matter. And then when you see these county maps and things like nationwide county maps, that's why you see a lot more red on it, because there's a lot more red counties. What there's not big surmountable amount of red population. And honestly, this map is important to see, because it brings the tipping states and everything. And now this election has the tipping points and projected vote and everything. So what this is going to be looking like is that we're going to be looking at, so Florida, it says Dems +3.5. So it means that in a average scenario, Dems are ahead +3.5. So their mean curve is 3.5 ahead of the mean curve of the Republican Party. And you see, as they go span out from each other, the bigger the difference is. Pennsylvania +4.7, North Carolina +2.1, and all these things do matter. Ohio is going to be close, and these states that are certainly like right there, +1.5 Georgia, it's going to be close, and Georgia might be a closer race than people may think. And honestly, look, you keep on going down these races, states like Missouri +13.2, that's still a lot, and South Carolina could actually be in striking distance, statistically speaking. So all the states have gray kind of touching. That means that there's a statistical probability that it could still happen of one party winning over the other. And then we see states that probably there's no possibility, like Utah, for example, because they're not touching. And the District of Columbia is just completely separated. So we can see with this map that, honestly, Democrats are far ahead. And that really does matter. And an advantage is always good when you start getting into the fall election season. Because when you get in there, you're going to lose a lot of your support, whether you're the Democrat or the Republican. And it's good to have support out of that. Because you lose, but you still are in the positive. But then if you nearly have more support at the beginning and you start losing support, that's it. That might be the end of the campaign. So we're going to do a simulator. I'm just gonna show you guys just a random simulation. So out of every 10, for example, let's just do 5 times just to see about how it would look. So for example, 1 time is Biden landslide, 1 is a Biden good victory, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 1 time, 22%, we could see a Trump victory like this. And for something like this to happen, something crazy would need to happen. And this shows that after a certain amount of clicks, 11 simulations, we can see that we finally got a Donald Trump victory. And that shows the actual probabilities of a Donald Trump victory. So overall, this election is going to be close. And with all this information that we've just dissected right now, we can see that Democrats are ahead and that they really just need to hold on to the states they have. If they start losing states like Arizona, Florida, North Carolina, then Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and start losing these states, that's going to be a problem for them. Which right now, they don't look like they're going to start losing them. But when we get into the heat of campaign season, all these big rallies, all these big things happening, we could see Donald Trump come back a little bit. But at the end of the day, it's going to have to be with a lot of momentum. Joe Biden doesn't have that much momentum right now. When it comes to political momentum in a general election, right now, Donald Trump has a lot of it because of his supporting base. Joe Biden's supporting base is not the same type of enthusiastic voter that the Donald Trump voter is. So, for that reason, that's why we might see more chances of an upset. Because just analyzing by this map, we could say that Democrats are pretty done with the election. They really have a 100% chance of winning. But this is also taking in the fact that we must consider the Trump support and the Trump momentum that comes closer to election day. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If so, please give it a thumbs up, like and subscribe, and turn on your post notifications. Guys, a couple days left until we draw a giveaway winner for that $25 gift card. And many great things are coming to this channel soon. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Bye!